Hey everyone, welcome back to the studio. So in today's video, I have a very special guest with me. This is Sam, he's my husband, and he's been in previous videos packing orders, doing all kinds of stuff for the channel and for the shop. But I thought it'd be really fun today to show you guys his notebook because he recently got into traveler's notebooks. So we're just gonna put us off to the corner of the screen, and Sam, can you give us a tour of your traveler's notebook, please?
Sure. When you gave me this black traveler's passport notebook, you also gave me this black Kaweco Sport pen with a extra fine nib.
I just feel like they're so small and easy to carry. I feel like it's a really good entry-level fountain pen for beginners, and that's why I wanted to get it for you, because it wasn't like a super expensive fountain pen, because what if you didn't like it?
Yeah.
I knew you wanted the traveler's notebook because we have traveler's notebooks inserts in our shop now, so you wanted to get a cover for it. But I didn't know if you would want to write with like a gel pen or the pens you used to use, like all the free pens we would get at events and stuff. But I decided to just get the black and gold because that's like your favorite color combination.
I think it looks really nice.
I also love black and gold.
So let's take a look at my journals then. I have an exercise journal. This is where I log all my workouts, and I kind of do a bunch of different things. So I run, I bike, I row, and I do strength training, and this keeps all of that. I started this one on March 7th, and my layouts are actually a lot different than what they are now. Sarika's actually the one who helped me figure out kind of a better layout for it. I experimented a little bit here in April. I would write my sets vertically, and then when I started doing it horizontally, so set 1, set 2, set 3, that made things a lot cleaner. And this is mostly strength training. I tried to do it with kind of like this every other line and skipping a line kind of thing, but then when I wrote the exercise, it was a lot more messy and condensed. So I skipped to each exercise having 3 blocks. And I think that's what I ended up settling in on. I tried to do these boxes and outlines.
Yeah, definitely. I always love using my pencil and ruler to do that, and I actually suggested adding some lines to like make it more organized and clean.
Yeah.
How did you like that?
I liked it, but then making the grids kind of took too long, so yeah. I abandoned that, I think, after just like the 2 times that I did it.
Yeah.
And then
you got to do what you're going to keep up with.
Yeah.
Right?
This is what I settled on. So I would stamp the date, I would write all my exercises, I would have the 3 columns for the 3 sets that I do, and then when I'm at the gym, I would fill in what I did. I would also write my start and end time at the top. I try to do like an hour workout. Sometimes it goes over if I'm waiting for an exercise machine or something like that. At the end of the month, I'll usually write somewhere on the page how many workouts I've done. So in April, I was able to do 16. I think it was just the timing of it all and the kids not being sick at the wrong times and things like that, or you being sick.
Yeah, I get sick a lot. But okay. You don't really get sick. Your immune system is so good.
Yeah.
Would you say that journaling has helped you improve your workouts?
I would say it makes them more efficient when I'm there, because I'll set up my workout. I know every exercise I'm gonna do before I get to the gym.
Yeah.
So it makes things a lot smoother when I'm at the gym. I'm not thinking, all right, well, what's the next exercise I'm gonna do?
You've used workout apps before, and would you say you like doing it analog better, or do you like doing digital?
I like the analog side better. I don't get distracted with other notifications on the phone, and so I know I can stay on track and knock out a workout within an hour or hour 15.
Yeah. I have trouble with that, like when I'm at the gym and I change a song, but then I'm like, oh, let me just go check on like social media real quick and then reply to stuff, and then all of a sudden 5-10 minutes has gone by and I'm like, oh, I should be actually working out.
That's my exercise journal. So I also have kind of a daily journal. This would be...
Can I show mine?
Oh, yeah.
And then show how I abandoned it.
Okay.
Okay, so I also had a little exercise tracker, and I actually showed this on my Instagram, and people were loving it, but I'm not really like sad to say that I've abandoned it. I still work out, but I generally have a sense of what I want to do, like arms or legs or cardio, or a combination. I just like, oh, I want to try out this machine. I just feel like it's more my speed. I'm not as regimented as you, but I tried to be like you and be very regimented. And so I made tables and I put the sets and the weights and the reps, and I did a little date stamp and everything, but this got a little bit intense for me. And I felt like I didn't need to look at this after I did it. Like, I didn't feel like it was adding as much value to me as it was for you. And so I stopped after a month of it, but it was good to try. And I did talk to some people who got inspiration from this. And so I thought, like, if it works for some people, that's really great. But for me personally, it's just, I tried it, but it's just like, nah, I just want to go to the gym and like hop on a treadmill or something. Tell us about your sticker here, and then maybe like we can go into this beautiful fern notebook.
So you have 5 die cut designs. I like the color wheel. I like the boba one. Oh, the camera one.
Yeah, camera's
I was really struggling.
I got
I just happened to read a book called Tales from the Cafe, and I was just feeling the coffee vibe. I was super nervous because putting it on felt pretty permanent, I would say. And I was really nervous about the placement of it.
Well, this one is more like nerve-wracking because it's a vinyl sticker that's on the cover. I feel like for the insides, you're just like, wee. You just put it wherever.
Yeah, I agree. But I think I put it in a pretty good placement.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like the little angle.
So that's my exercise journal, and what I use the Fern journal for is kind of my daily to-do list, and I use it for daily and weekly. I tried some bullet journal stuff where, you know, I'd set up like the index and I wrote the future logs, but I found myself kind of not really using either or, and what I mostly did was just use it for my daily to-do lists. I kind of like using the monthly setup, but I don't like having each date laid out with one line because I feel so restricted. I'm like, what am I going to put for that one line? And sometimes I don't write very neat. I guess all the time I don't write very neatly.
As long as you can read it, that's fine. Don't ask me to read it.
Yeah.
But I love it. It's very like you got privacy. you got like built-in privacy.
Yeah, because no one can read what I write.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Because I'm always like, people are gonna read my stuff on the internet, my trauma and like all my stuff, you know, and my plans. And I'm like, maybe I should just write in cursive. I actually wrote in cursive for a while when I was going through some stuff. And I was like, I don't want people to read this. So cursive is harder to read.
Right.
So I wrote in cursive. I'm like being genuine, I swear. But now I decided to start writing in print again.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to be able to read my own stuff. So that's why I value like neat handwriting. But I also think there's a certain charm and uniqueness to like scrawly handwriting. You read the bullet journal book. You tried to set it up like exactly how the book like laid it out and told you how to set it up, and you just ended up not really liking the index, the future log, and how the monthly is just like each day is one line. I
use it just as kind of a write down anything I need to do for later that month, or just need to think about in general, or just like put off.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have anywhere to sit.
So you put all of the months like back to back.
I did, but I realized I don't need to do. You're really. I realized I don't need to do that because I'm gonna fill up this notebook before I need those months.
Right, because
I'm already like halfway through.
Because how much do you use per month? How many pages? Is this
I don't know.
is this
I've
like
never
Manx?
calculated that.
Right, because sometimes you have to think about how many pages you need. So this is a month right here. So really, it could be like half year maybe, but you put the whole year.
I think I would clear one in like a quarter.
A quarter year?
I don't need that many months.
Yeah.
I realize that. I actually converted see this is December. I converted it to my restock collection.
Yeah.
And I just
That's nice.
Scribbled that out.
Yeah, scribble it out.
But these are the things that need to be restocked.
I just make a calendar.
But your calendar's super cute.
It's so cute, but I don't really look at it that much. It's not really that functional. I said this before. The monthly calendar is really just to be like, this is a new month. It's really just an indicator, because really the big heavy lifters are the dailies and the weeklies even. But I feel like it's not complete without the monthly calendar though.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
I don't know. Would you ever consider making like a calendar, or do you think that's like, it's too much work?
It's nice. Like, I like it. I like being able to see the month in a clear view. Like, when I do my month, everything's all over the place. Like, this is the 22nd, this is the 23rd, then it jumps back to the 21st because I remembered something.
Yeah, that would bother me.
And I don't like it, but it's also like, that's the month one, so I'll just not worry about it.
Right.
I don't know. There is some appeal to that for me.
Right.
But that does seem like a lot of work.
It is a lot of work to do the lines, but I also enjoy it. I do think that for you use this in combination with digital.
I do use my phone. I use Google Calendar.
Yeah.
I have a shared calendar with Serica that she never really checks, but I'll put in like our kids stuff as well as some work things, and then that's how I use it in conjunction with this. But I think what I need to do in terms of thinking about my next insert that I need to put in is I do have to calculate how many pages I use in a month, but that's kind of changing now, because when I started, I was using it just for to-do lists every day.
Yeah.
And then also in my weekday plans. And it kind of morphed into some stuff like this. Like, I read a book for pleasure.
Yeah.
Like, for the first time in forever.
Yeah.
You printed out book stickers for yourself,
Yes.
and I was like, can
I
you
don't
make
know where
one
they
for
are.
me?
Uh-huh.
Because I want to put that one in there. That really like rekindled my joy for reading for pleasure again. Because
Right.
I'll read to the kids every night, and they get to enjoy reading, but like I never get to enjoy reading.
Yeah.
So-
So we started kind of reading our own books to role model for them. Like, oh, like mom and dad also like to read
Yeah.
a lot too.
So
Yeah.
I got really excited about that, and I wanted to write a little bit about it.
You're saying you
Yeah.
incorporated long form journaling into your planner. So you're kind of mixing both, which
starting to happen, yeah.
did, it was mentioned in the bullet journal method by Ryder Carroll that you can put a dash or a hyphen,
Yeah.
and then you can just like write a paragraph or something. Or
Well, that's what I was doing.
More.
I was writing like a hyphen and some notes. But then this past Father's Day weekend, I kind of took it another step and started actually journaling.
Oh, that's a lot.
I really enjoyed writing about this, because when I think about how you do journaling and memorialize our lives,
Yeah.
like, you're gonna pass that to the kids. They'll probably read it at some point.
I try not to think about that, because then I'm like, oh, I'm not writing a letter to anyone. This is really just for me. And if I start thinking about like all of the people that might read my journal in the future, or even like the people right now reading my journal on Instagram, if they're like zooming in, I don't want to freak myself out.
That's
So
true.
I just try to be like, I'm not writing this for anyone but me. Otherwise I'm gonna, because I write like sometimes the dumbest stuff in my journal, because I don't judge myself for it. I'm just
That's
like,
nice.
I don't want to inhibit myself from writing like whatever I want. I do segment things, and I've mentioned this before. Like, I'll put all of the stuff that I really don't like rereading in a separate journal, and then I'll put all the stuff that I really enjoy going back to, and like happy memories, I'll put that in one journal. I'll make it really nice looking. I will put stickers and photos and stuff in there. But even then, I still will write things that sometimes it doesn't make any sense. I'll write in my journal, I don't know what I'm writing right now, What
You
was
write
I
that?
saying? I'll literally write
You like
that.
comment on
I'll
what
comment
you're
on what I
writing?
said. Like, I'll be like, why did I write this? I don't know what
Okay.
I'm talking about anymore. I don't want to write about this anymore. I'll peter out now.
The benefit to that is like you are continuously writing. That's like a writing exercise.
It is. It's like stream of consciousness
Yeah.
writing. Okay, I guess I'll show my passport just as a comparison. I mean, I showed the exercise one a little bit, but really the only thing that I have in my passport-sized camel cover is the one fern insert, and I'm using that as a mini bullet journal. I think, you know what, it looks really different on the surface, like aesthetically, but it actually really is similar. Because if you think about it, I don't really do an index, I don't do a future log because I don't find them very functional. So I actually just didn't even set that up to begin with. And then I went straight in with the month, and then I just went in with my dailies, and occasionally I would do a meal plan, and then sometimes I would do a weekday plan, like a weekly. It's very simple. I think my planning is super flexible. I think that's necessary as a parent. You can't really be rigid, because if you make those plans with high expectations, you're gonna end up disappointed. It's really just to anchor certain things in the day, and then everything else I don't really write down. I just think, okay, I need to do this, and this. There's a certain level of resetting and chores we have to do. I don't really write all that, but there are pillars in the day that may be unique from day to day that I write down.
It makes sense that yours is similar to mine because we meet pretty much every morning to talk about what we want to do. You'll write out what you want to do.
Yeah.
I'll write out what I want to do.
Yep.
And then we talk about it and see if there's anything we need to adjust based on each other's capacity or need.
I think this is really exciting for me to talk about with you, because when I tell like YouTube by myself, there's such a big piece missing. It's the co-planning that is like not there. Before we had kids and before we were living together and before we were married, of course my planner was just for my own stuff, and I was just responsible for my own schedule. I worked a separate job, you know, in an office, and you had your separate job. And then I feel like slowly we had to do a lot more coordinating.
Yeah.
And that's why now it's like, I basically do my planning with you. I'm not doing it by myself at my desk. And so that's why it almost felt like odd for me to talk about planning when I did solo YouTube videos. I did feel very comfortable doing my journaling videos by myself though, because this is something that I do take space for by myself, and I don't really want to do that with anyone else. I do want to journal with the family when the kids are older though. That is something that I'm like really looking forward to. If they're interested in that, if they don't want to do journaling, maybe it's some other activity that they can do near us, you know? I don't want to force them into doing any like interests that I am into. I want them to develop their own interests and be independent. But if it's something that they can do, or if maybe like homework even near me while I'm journaling, I feel like that would be so like beautiful and pleasant. It's just something I really look forward to.
That'd be really
But right
cool.
now it's like too chaotic.
It is.
Yeah. Still a little bit. I feel like with the older one, it's possible, very possible to do it. But when they're both there, it's like the younger one is still not there yet. I think another thing that really excites me about doing this video is it really goes to show how our notebooks reflect our lives. And that's why I'm excited for this new type of video, because I've been a little bit uncomfortable with where my content was sitting. I was like not inspired to make content, and doing the videos solo, I feel like I was like, there's something missing there.
It was me.
I was don't be like that. Don't do that, man. And I think the solo videos okay, I think what's going on right now is there's a pivot, I feel like, because I keep reminding myself that if I'm not excited about making the videos, there's something that needs to change. And I think what needs to change is I need to expand more, because my journals are actually expanding more to hold more people in my life. It's not just about me anymore. Well, I did include you and the dogs a lot in vlogs, like way back in the day, like 2019, 2018, but then I stopped being on camera and like showing our lives that much once we had kids, just for privacy reasons, and also I was so tired. But I'm really excited. I feel like this is a new chapter. It's been like bit by bit. First, you were behind the scenes doing some restocking, order packing, some communications, and then Sam made an Instagram. Sam in the studio, we gotta shout that out, right?
Yeah.
So Sam in the studio, he started it. It was originally just to show, like, I guess, behind the scenes. It is a lot to manage, I think, for me, one person, to run a YouTube channel and to run the shop. And then ever since you got laid off, we'll talk about all of that, I think, in another video. This is like a whole separate story. I think we should do another one of these like chats where we talk about that. We really need to go and get dinner started and pick up the kids. So, goodbye. All right, and that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was very different than our usual type of content, but like I said, I just want to branch out a little bit, and part of that is bringing Sam on. So I hope you enjoyed looking at Sam's journal, and thank you for giving us a tour of your bullet journal and your exercise notebook and talking about all the things that you're passionate about. I really enjoyed myself. Did you have fun?
Yeah,
Cool.
that's fun.
Great. All right, bye.
Bye.